100% Indigenous. That has been the focus of authentically Indigenous markets for the past 8 years.
We're able to create more experiences for people to see artists, like see them firsthand and authentically see what they're seeing. Because that's the most important part for us is, you know, we want to tell our stories from our point of view, not somebody else's, and our artwork tells stories.
That's just one of her business hats. A Blackfoot member of the Kainai Nation, she is also a designer. Her Native Diva Creations brand has made it to the Fashion Week runways of New York, Paris, and Milan.
I feel seen as a business, and you know, having something that's more culturally focused, sometimes that makes you a niche, right? And so being a niche makes it's a harder place to be in, but it makes us special. And people are seeing that.
Last year, provincial revenues specifically from the contribution of Indigenous peoples in Alberta went up to $3.5 billion. According to a report from ATB and MNP, that was up from $2.3 billion in 2019, a more than 50% increase over 5 years. Some say the Indigenous economy has the potential to generate $100 billion in the coming years.
How do you get to that number? What needs to happen?
Yeah, I think just based on what has been happening, opening the doors, it's also just bringing to the table Indigenous voices. Coming out of COVID, now there's a whole lot more Indigenous entrepreneurs starting marketing business, consulting firms, as well as joining in on the oil and gas industry, having their own businesses, whole nations having their own businesses, private entities take on different sectors throughout Canada.
Tourism is one sector where Indigenous operators are thriving. According to the Calgary Chamber of Commerce, it is expected to add an average of $135 million per year to Alberta's GDP through to 2026. In 2024, revenues are sitting at about $272 million, according to Indigenous Tourism Alberta.
I think that's just simply going to continue to grow. That trend will, the demand starts to increase, and and as the demand begins to increase, I believe that more and more Indigenous communities, as well as individual entrepreneurs, will capitalize on that, and I really hope they do.
With the growth of Indigenous business spaces, so new programs, new degrees, new education opportunities are out there, and those also continue to grow. And for me, that's my love child, is just seeing more and more Indigenous people get into the business sector.
Yeah, we know we're valuable. We can be business owners. We can do all the things and own things, and just like everybody else. Of course, the stuff we've already known, but for somebody else to see it and validate us is kind of like, it feels really nice.
For her part, Saloy Eagle Speaker plans on building on that growth. She's keeping the details to herself for now, but she says she has plans to expand the authentically Indigenous market in the new year. Terry Trembath, CBC News, Calgary.